Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Six Figure Success Club. Today we're joined by Ally, who is a personal brand photographer working with six-figure female entrepreneurs to create iconic images for their unforgettable brands. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the importance of personal branding and how it can elevate the brand of your business. So let's get into it. Ally, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. So I'm Ally and I'm a personal brand photographer. I work with six-figure female entrepreneurs and I help them show up online in a way that feels aligned with their business and with where they're going.
Amazing. And how long have you been doing that?
Well, I started my photography business nearly 10 years ago. I can't believe this. It's going to be 10 years in October. It's crazy. When I started my business, I didn't start it as a brand photography. I needed to do something different. I wanted the flexibility and the freedom that a 9-to-5 job wouldn't have allowed me. So I started doing anything and everything to do with portrait photography. I had a real kind of pull towards photographing people. It's where I'm at. Don't give me a landscape. I can't do it. I know it sounds really odd, but I don't have the same idea. Where my passion lies is photographing people. And like most of us, when we first start our business, it takes us a while to find our feet. So it did take me a while to really find my feet. And at the beginning, I photographed anything and everything. I photographed weddings, I photographed families, photographed newborns. I have to admit that is cute, really, really cute. And if there's one aspect that I miss about that side of my business is the newborn photography. And then I'd say about 5-6 years ago, I came across this concept of brand photography. And I remember so clearly, I remember sitting there thinking, wow, this is exactly what I want to do. This is where I belong. This is where, it just felt like I'd come home in a way. And I haven't looked back since. So I slowly pivoted. I moved away from all that side of photography. Don't get me wrong, I still have family photography clients that come to me regularly. So I still do that side of things. But the majority, 90% of my work is brand photography now.
Lovely. And when you say brand photography, what does that mean?
So what I love about what I do is I get to meet lots of fabulous, incredible businesswomen, powerhouse businesswomen, and it is so inspiring. But the way I work is, say a client will come to me and they'd say, hi, I really need some brand photos. And then it takes maybe 3 to 4 weeks to get from initial call to brand photo shoot, sometimes even longer, because I firmly believe in that planning stage being absolutely key. I'm not a photographer that will just turn up and take some photos. I want to know everything about their business, who they are, who their ideal client is, because I think that's really, really important. And also really, really important is where do they want to be in 12 months time, 18 months time. So if I go back to the first bit, who their ideal client is, I think it's really important that the photos resonate with their ideal client. There's no point in me taking aesthetically pleasing photos that say nothing to their ideal client, because then they're not going to attract them. So it's really important for me to know who their ideal client is, so I can then tailor the photographs and capture them in such a way that their ideal client is automatically attracted to them. So that's number one. And number two, the bit that I said about where they want to be, I've actually just written an email about it to my to my subscribers. So there's two reasons for this. One is simply return on investment. I want the photos that I deliver to be as aligned with their business on the day when they receive them as they are in 12 months time. Oh, bless you. So I want them to get as much out of those photos as possible. But secondly, I think there's a huge amount of power in those photos when they see themselves as the person they're going to be in 12 months' time. I think from a visualization point of view, there is huge power behind it. And whenever you might have a moment of doubt, or, imposter syndrome kicks in, it's really easy to look back at those photos and actually see yourself as that next level. And then all of that, the imposter syndrome disappears, because you've already experienced it, you've already been there, and you've got photographic evidence. So from a psychological point of view, from a mindset point of view, those photos are really powerful. And I find that my clients make huge shifts in their business. And I'm sure it has to be a combination of everything. Obviously, having those photos gives you a huge boost, a huge confidence boost, to be able to actually go out there and put yourself out there with photos that look great, that feel aligned. So there's a lot of confidence in there as well. But I find that kind of lasts longer when the photos kind of grow with you, and when you can visualize that end result.
I love that. I think that's really important, because I think we generally, as business owners, as women, we find it quite hard to imagine ourselves in kind of more successful positions. So I think having almost photographic evidence of you doing that, I think you're right. I think that is really important.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. I think as women, we suffer a lot more from imposter syndrome than men do. We doubt ourselves a lot more. And I guess in a way, it is just who we are, and it can be a strength as well as a weakness. But why not make it, why not work with it and try and kind of eliminate this imposter syndrome when it kind of comes through, when you can look at those photos and think, actually, I've already been there. Look how amazing I look. Yes, that's me. Yes, I can take action from that person. And I think it's that thing. It's about, taking action as if you were that version of yourself.
Yeah, I think that's fab. And I think imposter syndrome is always an interesting subject, because so many people suffer with it. I think the statistic is that 80% of people at some point in their lives or careers will suffer with imposter syndrome. And I gave a talk on this once, and I was doing some research for it. And one of the most famous people that I'm aware of that suffers from imposter syndrome is Meryl Streep, which I always find really interesting. Do you know how many times Meryl Streep has been nominated for an Oscar?
No, I don't.
22 times. She's the most nominated actor or actress of all time. I think she's the second most winning. She's won 4 times, I believe. And she still suffers with imposter syndrome, which I think is a testament to how you can suffer with something and still continue with your craft, and kind of embrace the fact that you might not always feel like your best self, but kind of do it anyway. And yeah, I always love that example when looking at imposter syndrome, the fact that if somebody like Meryl Streep, who we all, I imagine, look up to because she's amazing, if she suffers from imposter syndrome, but she can still go out and work every day, I think I think she's a great role model for kind of the rest of us looking at doing things even though it scares us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And when you think about it, she's got so many Oscar nominations, like you said, wow. And yet she's still, her brain still turns up and go, you're not very good at this.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And well, that is a fabulous example, because like you say, if she suffers from imposter syndrome and can still achieve all of that, then we can all achieve what we want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just finding ways to deal with the symptoms of imposter syndrome when they show up. And so if you've got clients that are coming to you that need photography and they are struggling with the looking 12 months into the future and where they're going to be, what do you have kind of things that you work through with them that help them embrace themselves 12 months from now?
Do you know what? That's something I haven't come across before. I think everyone has dreams and aspirations, especially women in business. I think or perhaps women who are at a point where they need brand photography, because you probably wouldn't book a brand photo shoot if you're at a stage in your business where you are just coasting along, happy. I find most of the time people come to me when they're at a point in their business where they know the next level is there. You know, they're approaching the next level, they are working towards their next level, so often they have a vision for where they want to be. But yes, perhaps visualizing it, making it really clear, and then working with them to capture that on camera. Yes, that does take work, because it's one thing to visualize it, but it's very different to then actually embody it and capture it on camera. So yes, I do work with them in terms of finding ways that we can embody it, and finding ways that we can embody it in a visual way, because that's what I do and that's where I come in. But I often find that the women that I work with are in that process. They're in that process of kind of shedding their old identity, stepping into a new identity. They are working on embodying who they want to be. So yeah, I think there's always a dream there. I just need to kind of pull it out of them and try and picture it in a visual way.
I love
that. There's loads of different ways.
I think you're right. I think most business owners that get to the point where they want brand photography, I think you're right. I think they are looking at kind of what's next and what do they want out of the business. And just kind of in your opinion, how important do you think brand photography is when you're moving from one level of business to another?
Obviously I'm going to say it's absolutely key. I'm not going to say don't bother about it. I think it's key. So the way that I always portray it is I make this analogy with a Michelin star chef. So obviously, having been in business, even if you've only been in this, a year, 2 years, or however long, you are still an expert at what you do. Nobody else does it better than you. You are the expert. And in this analogy, you are the Michelin star chef, because you would have already done courses, you would have, honed your craft. And so imagine you're a Michelin star chef. You've done years of cooking classes. You've been shouted at by various Gordon Ramsay style chefs. You've opened your own restaurant. You've got the best ingredients. You're cooking up this amazing dish, but you haven't got any place to serve it on. So at the end of so once you've cooked it, you just end up dishing it out in some Tupperware containers. That is how I see brand photography, because I work with so many incredible women, but sometimes they just forget to buy the plates. They forget to update their brand. And I think, if you think about it, if I go back to the analogy, how many people do you think will pay £40 for a dish that comes in a, I don't know, Chinese plastic tub? You'd be like, no thanks, I'll pay £5 for it. That's, tops. Because that's what you're doing. You are telling people, here's my amazing 10K package. I can help you get there, but your photos are still stuck at the Tupperware stage. No. So it's kind of aligning. It's aligning your offer with your brand and making sure that there isn't that disconnect between what you're offering, the transformation that you're offering, the price that you're charging, and how you show up, and making sure that all of those feel aligned.
I love that analogy. I love the Tupperware. Can you imagine, going to a Michelin star restaurant and they say but I think that's an excellent point. Like, you need the importance of the photography and the imagery that you're showing in your business needs to match the level of service that you're offering, and also the clients that you want to attract. If you're the example you gave, I think was if your coaching is like 10, if your program's like 10K and you're promoting it with selfies, they kind of don't match up. You need to have that professional looking photography that you provide that shows you as that kind of level of coach or service provider or business owner that's going to provide a service that's worth £10,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I find there's sometimes some of the clients that I work with, not so much nowadays, but certainly in the earlier days, they used to really struggle with people with like their own clients who would come back to say, oh well, you know, you're really expensive. And I'd always say that's because your brand photos don't match. You know, if your brand photos say my package is £10,000 and your package is £10,000, people will turn up and they go, sure, I'll pay £10,000, send me the link. But if your package is £10,000 but your photos are like £1,000, then people will turn up and they'll go, oh, I wasn't expecting that, I was expecting maybe £1,000. You're clearly too expensive. So it's also, I think it makes the sales process so much easier, because you then start attracting people that already know roughly how much you're going to charge. So the minute you tell them the price, you don't have that kind of horrible sick feeling to go, oh my god, I tell them my package is 10k. You can say my package is 10k and they go, fab, how do I sign up?
You've used the imagery to elevate kind of your level of branding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're thinking about, when a business owner is thinking about doing their brand photography, do they need to have a good understanding of what their brand is and what their products are? How early in the business process is too early to have brand photography done, I guess is where I'm going.
I don't think there's, so I know a lot of clients who have actually done a brand photo shoot before they've launched their business, because they wanted, I think that there are obviously different types of brand photo shoots, and there's different levels, I think, of your business where you need photos. But I have worked with both. I have worked with people who haven't actually had a business yet, but they needed brand photos. Now, obviously, those brand photos were a lot more generic than some of the more established businesses that I've worked with, because we don't have much to work with. However, it is still really important to have that image, to have that professional image right from the start, because then you can actually start charging more right from the start. You're not positioning yourself really low down. You can walk into the world of business by positioning yourself slightly higher, perhaps mid-level, without without having to start right at the bottom. So there are some, and I actually, so in my suite of packages, I don't actually have a big variety of packages, but one of the packages I offer is a kind of entry-level photo shoot where I hire an incredible location, like one of those photo starred location houses, and then but I have loads of women come together, so obviously I can offer it at a more affordable price for them, but they still get the high level images in the kind of location that will automatically elevate their images, and they can start off with that. And that means that, like I said, they can start their business by, already being ahead of the game, by having the right images for them. And then a year down the line, usually, 12 to 18 months down the line, they can come back to me and go, now I know what I'm doing. Now I've got a better idea of who I'm working with, what my packages are. Can we do it again? And of course we do it again, but with a more specific brief at that point.
I think that's a great idea, doing that kind of upfront, because I think like you said, it elevates the brand before you even start selling anything. But also I think it helps you as the business owner kind of step into being a CEO and running a business, because you have taken the opportunity to invest in your business, invest in yourself. You can see what it looks like as with you as a business owner, and it just it gives you a really good kind of starting point when you're starting to build that business.
Oh, absolutely. The beautiful thing about these events, I'm really proud of them, as you can tell, is actually they are a kind of a photo shoot and a networking event all in one. So often there'll be other business women there who are at various stages of their business, who for some reason or another they just need a small photo shoot. So it could be somebody starting up, it could be somebody who had a photo shoot with me a year ago and just needs a top up of photos. It could be loads of different types of business owners, and because they come together, there's this magic atmosphere of, you know, 12 businesswomen chatting, helping each other out, connecting, becoming each other's clients, collaborating. So it's a really, really good way to get into that space and seeing what other business people are doing, how they're doing things. And also it's really helpful for me from a photo shoot point of view, because say somebody will say, oh, I'd like the photos of me, I don't know, at a laptop in this location, and then somebody else will go, oh, can I have a photo of me in that? And then and then it kind of rotates, and it's fab, because it means that everybody gets loads of different photos.
I also think doing it in a group setting makes it a lot less daunting as well. I personally, not a huge fan of having my photo taken. Really comfortable on video. You can take as much video of me as you like, because I feel like my personality comes out a lot more. But having to stand still and have my photo taken, I find really difficult. So doing it in a group setting, I think would be a lot more comfortable, because you can bounce off of other people. They can make you feel, you can kind of watch them do it, and it will make you feel slightly more comfortable, rather than doing it kind of in a one-on-one, which can feel quite intense, I think.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think it is, yeah, it's definitely very intense one-on-one, because like you say, you are the only person in front of the camera. And also, if you've done a few, then obviously that becomes a lot more, you know, you become a lot more confident, you become a lot happier doing it. But certainly at the beginning, doing a photo shoot where you're in a group of people is just, yeah, it works like a dream, because like you say, you've got that support, you've got other people you can chat to, you don't feel like you're on your own in this kind of in front of the camera. There's loads of people supporting you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so just coming back to kind of the importance of your branding imagery, I guess with the photographs that you take and that the business owners that work with you use, is there an element of having to match that to the other kind of brand elements that that you use in your business? So as an example, I am very yellow. Everything I wear is yellow. So all of my brand photos, I'm wearing yellow. And then lo and behold, the rest of my brand imagery and the colors and things that I use match the yellow. Do you think that's, I mean, I do it because I love the yellow, but do you think that whenever you're taking brand photos, do you think the business owner needs to think about that and making sure that what's in the photo is matching the rest of their brand? Or what's your kind of take on that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So obviously brand colors, extremely important. I love the fact that you wear yours. That's great. I don't, obviously, if you want to wear yours, go for it. I think it makes a really powerful statement, and it makes your photos really easily recognizable. So yes, not everyone wants to wear their brand photos, and I totally understand that. But in that case, I always say wear accessories in your brand colors, bring props in your brand colors. So you could have a laptop cover in your brand colors, you could have your phone cover in your brand colors, flowers, cushions, like I said, jewelry, notebook, anything that is, you know, that would help you bring those brand colors in and would work well as a prop for you as a business owner, then bring that along. Obviously, if you're a yoga teacher, then you can have a yoga mat in your brand colors, candles, all of those accessories. So it depends on what your business is, but I always encourage people to bring their brand colors in. Again, depending on the photo shoot, sometimes we will choose a location that has their brand colors. So when we hire locations for photo shoots, I will look through the website and I can tick. Some of the websites actually have a brand color that you can tick that will allow you to pick a location that's got those brand colors in. So yeah, there's absolutely brand colors really important. Also the feel of your brand, the vibe, is it professional? Is it, I've just lost my AirPod. Is it professional? Is it business to business? Is it, is it soul led? It depends on your brand values, and then we match those brand values to your photos. So for example, if it was a yoga teacher, then I'd pick somewhere where it's very calm, very serene. Whereas if you've got somebody who's a business coach who offers success as a transformation or a financial, she says, like yourself, 6-figure business club, then you're talking somewhere that's perhaps more, that has that kind of sharp edge to their brand. So it depends very much on who I'm working with, that we make sure that everything matches, like I said, from brand colors, values. And then also you've got the really kind of the more technical side of things in terms of talking to website designers, making sure that the photos work well with their web design, whether they need landscape photos, portrait photos, photos where text goes here and text goes there, so that you don't mess up their the look of their website. So you've got a lot of technical aspects as well.
I like the idea that it's as easy as taking a photo, but also there's a lot more to it that is absolutely worth thinking about. So like you said, pulling in your brand colors, even if you don't want to wear them, using accessories to pull that in, picking the location correctly. Like if I went and had a brand photo shoot done in a building that was completely black and white, I don't think it would fit my brand very well because I am full of color. And then making sure that you're taking the right photos to use in the right places. So you might take different photos to use in your Instagram stories than you would to put on your website, like you said. So it's definitely worth thinking about the kind of end to end from of your kind of customer journey and where each of your customers is going to see those photos.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is where I come in, because I totally appreciate that as a business owner who does, this is my area of expertise, and, you would have a different area of expertise. So I might come to you to grow my business, to make more sales. But if you want brand photos, then this is where I come in, because this is where I can offer my expertise in terms of helping you plan the right photo shoot for you. And going back to what I said earlier, there's no point in me just turning up to take some photos. That's not what a brand photo shoot is. You have to be very intentional with the photos that you're going to take, and again with the location, with the brand colors and everything else, because actually, brand photo shoots don't come cheap. So if you want to get your return on your investment, then you need to plan it properly.
Which is why you said at the beginning, your planning phase can take a number of weeks, so that you can fully understand your client and their clients and what their brand is like and what products they offer. And then you can really tailor the brand photo shoot to what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to give you an example, so recently I've worked with a lady who is, she's a stress-free therapist. So basically she helps people feel less stressed, feel more calm. So obviously her photos needed to show that idea of calm, relaxed, not stressed. So obviously we were very careful with the outfits that we chose, with the location that we chose. And then on the opposite side, I was photographing somebody who's a financial coach. So again, very, very different, because she didn't need the kind of the very zen photos. She needed photos that said, I can help you make more money. Without necessarily, showing physical money, but she needs
throwing piles of cash everywhere.
Well, exactly. I mean, some people that works. She's not that kind of coach, but equally, she, her feel was very, very different. She was like, I need to show people that they can make more money.
I love that. I love the difference between different types of business owners and the different types of photos that they might need, and putting that effort in. It's not as easy as just me getting my camera and snapping a few shots. I mean, I think that could work to start with, but I think if you really want to elevate your brand, then putting the work in to find a brand photographer like yourself that can build the environment that works best for you and your business, and really shows that off to the clients that you're looking to attract.
Yeah, because the way I see it is, you want the photos to do the hard work for you. You want the photos to start attracting those clients. You want the photos to essentially prime your audience to start buying from you. And it is a very subconscious process. But if you can show them the transformation that they can achieve by working with you, then half of your sales job is done. Because by the time they come to you, they've already, their subconscious mind is already primed. They already know what they can achieve with you. So it just makes it that much easier.
I love that. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been lovely speaking to you.
Thank you for having me. It's been fab being on your show.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. My key takeaways from today would be to review the branding in your business. So does it reflect your values and what you want people to take away from viewing your content and working with your business? So the idea of a brand is having something that your clients can recognize. So when they see your content or your website or a product, how do you know they're going to tie it back to you? So have a review of that now in your business. Do you have a cohesive brand that works its way through every aspect of your business? And if the photos that you're using don't match the level of the business that you're at, is it perhaps time to think about updating those and doing a professional brand photo shoot? Thank you so much. I will see you in the next episode.